Let's go ahead and move on. We have number 4. This time you go first.
Okay, I'll start this. My number 4 pick, begrudgingly, I don't want to put this team up here. The Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks absolutely murdered the draft.
They did.
They murdered this draft, taking Devin Witherspoon at 5. Not where we saw this one going. Devin Witherspoon was the number 1 rated cornerback, coming into the draft. He's the number 1 prospect, but he's a tad undersized. Pro-style fit as far as body size and all that stuff. But still, they go out, they get the top prospect in the draft. And then these motherfuckers turn around and get one of the best wide receivers in the draft as well. Some people had JSN as their top rated. He's definitely in my top 2. It was between him and Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
JSN should have left the board at 13 to the Packers. He should have, but he didn't. And just like other great talent and teams that have that need, players just kept toppling down the draft board. And JSN falls into a wide receiver room with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Geno Smith had a great first half last year. He was a dark horse MVP favorite. Like Seattle, you got to understand that Geno fell off at the end of the year.
Let me shed some light on that, actually. Geno Smith last year, first 9 games of the year. And I'm going off ESPN's QB rating because they have a different QBR. Their QBR, for those of you who don't know, is on a much lower scale. The QBR that most people are used to, they're kind of used to the 100 being the magic number. 60 is the magic number on ESPN's QBR system. He had 8 games in the first 9 games of the season. His QBR was above 60. He had 3 games in the last 8 where his QBR was above 60. So he clearly had a drop-off in the second half of the season. Teams figured him out. Teams figure each other out, and you have to have counter wrinkles. And getting a receiver like that is exactly the counter wrinkle you need to do. That it was the move they needed to do. Look, it was between them and Buffalo at number 5 for me, and obviously I'm a homer here, but I love putting Seattle number 4. I don't have an issue with that whatsoever. Here's the thing that Seattle did good. As a 49ers fan, your reaction to their pick was, oh, and that's when you did a good pick, when division rivals are saying, oh.
It was really hard watching that. I was very unhappy when that pick came in. Okay, you're taking Devin Witherspoon, fine. Okay, you're addressing your cornerback too. Got it, cool, whatever. Wide receiver is not your need. O-line, edge, which, mind you, why they're number 4 on my list is because they addressed all of it. Derek Hall. Yeah. They got Derek Hall in the 3rd. And another offensive piece that they added that I don't think is getting talked enough, Zach Charbonnet, the running back out of UCLA, dude. When you already have Kenneth Walker, all Seattle did in the first 2 rounds of that draft was just take more pressure off of Geno. That's my problem as a divisional foe. The Niners and the Seahawks lined up 3 times last year, twice in the regular season and in the playoffs. I knew he could be rattled by a good pass rush. He's got talent everywhere now. Everywhere. And there's another guy on that offense that was kind of forgotten about last year, but he is there. Oh, yeah. Noah Fant that they got in Russell Wilson trade. That offense is going to be stupid scary. Stupid scary next year.
Seattle has absolutely hit it out of the park recently with their drafting. It's not about always addressing weaknesses. That's not always the right thing to do. And in this context, it makes a lot of sense. Look at where they are. Their division has the 49ers, who are clear favorites to win that division. And then you have 2 bottom feeders, right? Yep. Seattle has at least secured the number 2 spot in that division without playing a game. And if things go their way, they might even be able to push for number 1.
Bro, that gap between the Niners and the Seahawks drastically shortened in just
because they became that much more dangerous. Even though they still have things like, for example, edge rush, they could still use a better edge rush. At the end of the day, if you're forcing teams to have to put up points with you, that offsets a lot of your weaknesses, right? They doubled down on their strengths. Wide receiving core was one of their best areas. They have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, and they just added a 3rd excellent receiver. That is going to give defenses absolute nightmares trying to scheme for that. Yeah, they are a complete offensive package, and they have a great secondary now too. Their secondary is looking real strong. Safety position is deep. Their cornerbacks, they have 2 really young, talented cornerbacks there. Tariq Woolen last year. They have enough defense to keep teams from running away, and they have an explosive offense. That is scary.
Oh, yeah, and they just only brought back Bobby Wagner as well.
The linebacking core has got a lot better. Who? Bobby Wagner, immortal. I grew up in the Northwest. I had to deal with Seahawks fans my whole life. I love the Northwest, but I've never been a Seahawks fan. I can't hate the guy. I can't.
Yeah, Bobby's a dog. Like I was begging this dude to come join our linebacking core when he was a free agent last year, and then he decided to join the Rams. Like I was begging, please come over here. Like, please do what Richard Sherman did. Leave them, come to us. Seahawks fans, you should be very happy about this draft. You should be very happy about the future of your team. Yeah. That's my number 4. Let me hear yours.
The New York Giants.
Okay, they would have been my 6, 100%.
Here's the thing. We had a lot of teams do some crazy shit in the first 15 or so picks, right? And that meant that teams that were drafting later on, I feel like there was a surplus of talents this year. Thanks to, for example, the Lions reaching twice in the first round. That's 2 picks. That's 2 teams that benefited from the Lions reaching, right?
Yeah.
We had other teams reaching for players in the top 20. The New York Giants took advantage. I don't know if there's one pick specifically that's like, oh my God, the pick that's going to change the franchise. But name one pick that they missed on. Name one pick they whiffed on.
Not one. The center they took.
The center, oh my God. But let me retract my statement. I need to retract my statement. They got him in the second round, right? That is a piece that will change the franchise. Getting that kind of O-line support. Giants fans, I'm sorry, I f***ed up. That was a franchise-changing draft pick right there.
I had the New York Giants selecting him in the first
round, yeah. Yep.
And
nobody would have batted an eye if he had gone first round. Not one person.
And he fell to them in the second. And then the wide receiver they took, they got him in the third round. Jalen Hyatt. I had that motherfucker going 31 to Kansas City. Another team that just murdered the draft. You can see the level of impact that Brian Daboll has inside that franchise. That team used to be a dumpster fire when it came to drafting, and this is his second draft with the Giants, and his main focus has been offensive line, defensive line, and then whatever is left to us, best available after that, we will fill around that, because that's what you have to do. If Daniel Jones is going to get you to the playoffs, you got to have a great O-line, and he has been quietly building a very, very solid offensive line. And not just for him, you've got an elite level talent at the running back position. Oft injured though. You gotta have guys that can separate. You gotta have guys that can create those holes for him so he's not constantly getting punished 25, 30 times a game.
2 drafts in a row where they've absolutely hit it out of the park, and you're seeing how that translates to on-field success. Another thing, and this is a major trend I saw in the NFL last year. You saw the difference that quality coaching makes in the league. But, oh my God, Tampa Bay. They're just New England of the South.
Weren't we talking about the Giants?
We were.
New York, you killed it.